Hi, good morning. It's Dr. Bob Flower with your Monday, October 1st Master Pattern Report. Things seem to be gathering some steam here for a major blow off. And before I say anything, let me just tell you that the Master Pattern is showing a large move in silver for November 2nd. Now, that's 4 or 5 days before the election. I think it's 4 days before the election. So that might be telling me that behind the scenes, um, this might be a sequel for an Obama win. Um, because if that occurs, we think you're going to see a negative situation with the stock market and a positive with the commodities. Okay, um, especially oil. So stand by. Oil is in a declining mode right now. So if it drops down into the 80s, I may be a long buyer here. Some options uh, going into the election, because it's very obvious that Obama's energy program is allow oil to get up, oil and coal to get up as high as possible to make the green energy, solar and windmill, as viable as is possible. Okay, so keep that in mind when going forward and making your plans um, uh, with your own individual heating situations and fuel situations. Um, I know that we have a number of buildings that we're on the boards of, and we're looking at converting not only to gas but to the electric heat pump, because we think that that's going to be a hell of a lot more efficient. The numbers are, at least in these properties, that we're going to be better off with that than with oil. Okay. Um, what else is good? Well, I've got a security for you, short term. Um, Halliburton. We think that it's very fairly priced at the level it's at, with no major problems. Um, we're going to be buying some options this week, actually today. And we'll do a spread, but it'll be a long call spread. So we like it. We think it. We're following some of the gurus who also like it, and we think that among all of the proposals, propositions, Halliburton might be one of the better ones to look at. Okay. Now, need to talk to you about the, the brainless ones. Okay. The liberal socialists, and I hate to keep picking on the liberals, but they just keep asking for it. We were out to dinner with some friends who brought along their 21-year-old college student daughter, who unfortunately, we got into a conversation about politics and Obama in particular, and her comment was that she thinks that socialism hasn't really been given a proper chance, and this seems to be the theme. And mind you, she's going to a Catholic university, okay, and that socialism really hasn't been given a proper chance to flourish, to do its thing. I mean, I thought communism, like Russia and China were the epitome. But she says no, because what happened there was politics got in the way. Hello? But politics always gets in the way. That's the reality of life. That's the way things are. I mean, everything isn't just one level, uh, one thought, one desire. That's not the way, we're all different, for God's sake. That's why the Russian Empire crumbled, because there was no production, for God's sake. So in any event, I told her, I said, no, that's not true. I said, and I gave her the ultimate taste test, which I do with all my liberal social friends, which they couldn't pass, and that is, almost 50% of the people in this country don't pay federal tax. If we took the 50% that did pay and moved them, Turks and Caicos or Bermuda or Costa Rica or whatever, number one, what would happen to that community where they moved? Obviously, that would rise to all sorts of heights. And what would happen here? And after about 10 minutes of bantying about, I finally pressured her and her father, another bleeding liberal, to answer the question. And the answer was, they came up with, well, that's not a fair approach to socialism. Everybody has to be on board with the concept. So once again, here's the stupidity and ignorance and childishness, the ability to miss out on purpose, the insane concept of everybody is, they know better and everybody is the same. Again, I keep referring back to Abraham Maslow's, perfectionism concept of imperfect, unrealistic perfectionism. This is all a pipe dream. The Bible says there will always be poor, and we're not all created equal. I'm sorry. That's bull, and there's love will conquer all. I don't think so. I don't think so. And you know what? It doesn't end happily ever after. You get old, you get sick, you get cruddy, you get decayed, and you freaking die. What's so happy about that? Even if you believe that there's a better world someplace else after you go, it's still cruddy. It's still miserable. Who the hell ever came up with this pipe dream? Had to be a liberal. This is almost as good as Alice in Wonderland. We're all gonna be happy. Bull crap. All right. So anyway, there were a couple of questions. So anyway, listen. This whole argument, it has no standing that especially the social liberals, I could understand. They want to think that they're helping people and whatnot. And they're not. They don't know how to help people. Okay. They think that paying more taxes, making bigger government is good. Ask the Greeks, ask the Portuguese, ask the Irish, ask the Spanish, and pretty soon you're going to be asking the Italians too. What do they think? Right? And the Scandinavians and a whole bunch of them, that all these social utopias where they're paying 60, 80, 90% of their income and nothing, nobody. It's fine if you're just a production-oriented society. That all you do is you just go to work, somebody sets up the plan, somebody sets up the concept, and then you bring in the workers, the mindless ones, the living dead. I go to work, get my paycheck, and that's it. Hey, you know what, if that's your thing, and I don't mean to make fun, but if that's your thing, that's fine. It's not my thing. And I think a lot of you feel the same way. You want to be able to succeed. The main purpose of humankind is developing potential. That's, folks, that's it. You want the secret to life, you want the key to life, that's it. All right? Developing your potential as best you can, physically or materially, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Okay? Not just one, not just two of them. It's all four. That's what you have to work on in life. That's the potential that you have to develop. Okay, now a couple of questions. Last week we introduced our oversight or process that we use for the master pattern and the patterns, and a couple of questions arose from viewers. The one major one was, you mean to tell me that the master pattern is just a single strand of numbers or a pattern, single pattern? No, no, it's not. Uh, What happens is when you harmonize the three major natural numbers, pi, phi, and the natural number, Euler's number, together and integrate them, synthesize them, and use them to overlay, you have to apply them to something. And what we apply that to is two things: the price of a commodity or a stock, and the timing of it. So that what happens in effect is that if you have a price of a stock, let's say $40, okay, you have a master pattern for $40, and you have another master pattern for $41, and another one for $42. It's the application of the formula of the master pattern to something that gives it the variety, right? That makes it, that brings it into reality. And then if you think that all $40 stocks are going to react the same way, not true, because what you have to bring into account after that is time, the time factors. When do the past patterns present themselves over a period of time, and some sort of sequence. So you have to apply the master pattern harmonized numbers to time as well. And when you have both of those together, voila, you can see much better. Now, I mean, I hope that satisfies what we're talking about here. I mean, it's not just, hey, this guy's discovered a number and you apply that number to everything. That's why I say, it's so much work just to do one entity, one commodity or one stock. And quite candidly, I haven't yet found a computer operator, computer program designer that I can work with. I have one, and he happens to be a relative, but I can't depend upon him because he's got other things, and there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work involved in this. Okay. In order to apply it to different things. So then the last thing is, well, if this pattern is so effective, what can it do for me as an individual? Well, if you read my books, especially the two middle books, A Revolution in Understanding and Your Exceptional Mind, you'll see that this notion of natural intelligence, which we all possess, is very much at the basis of the master pattern. And with that, with those principles of natural intelligence, you can determine, I can determine what the truth is every single time. Right? So now, before any of you have heart attacks, that somebody says he's going to know your deepest, darkest secrets, and your ego is going to be open to attack, that's not quite true. What I'm telling you is that it's the pathway to the truth. You have your own truth. Everybody has their own truth. Okay? Truth itself is universal. It's the pathway to the truth that we've discovered. And demonstrate that to hundreds of thousands of people successfully, okay? And if you need, if you need help along those lines, you contact me, and I'll show you how the damn thing works, and within your own existence, physically, mentally, emotionally, and or spiritually. Okay, so anyway, it's a good week. Great weather here in the east. I hope everything is going well for you folks over in Europe and the Far East. Thank you for being part of the viewing audience and for sending in the information. We do have some information on Libya and Egypt that we're waiting for confirmation, and on the quote move for a new currency, new world currency. I was hoping to have it by now. I don't, but I will, and I'll share that with you as soon as that happens, and hopefully that's going to happen within the next couple of weeks at the latest. Okay, so have a great week, and keep your chin up, and just stay alert, man. Stay aware, and don't support the biased media. Don't support the biased media. Thanks. Have a great week.